As Lagosians brace up for more demolition of alleged illegal structures in the state, reactions continue to trail this exercise. From the most recent demolition at Mende Estate in Maryland, there have been alarming rates of building demolition in other parts of the state, which include Festac, Okota, Lagos Island, Ifako-Ijaye, Alimosho, Yaba, Ebute-Metta, Surulere, Agege, and Oboronshoki. However, some concerned citizens are not happy with the demolition. Let's take a listen to the report put together by Arise Environment correspondent Leila Johnson-Salami, which examines the impact of the construction of this 700-kilometer road on for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway.
In 2023, tourism played a significant role, contributing 9.1% to global GDP, as reported by the World Travel and Tourism Council. This sector also created 27 million new jobs worldwide. Presently, in Lagos, beach tourism has become ingrained in the state's identity, with numerous resorts adorning the coastline. However, with the federal government now asserting its right-of-way for the construction of the Lagos to Calabar Coastal Highway, many of these beachfront establishments have either been demolished or are slated for demolition. It's crucial to highlight that by law, the federal government has ownership and control over the land extending 250 meters from the coastline. Initially not on the demolition schedule, the Good Beach, a renowned beach establishment, received unexpected news during the second stakeholders meeting hosted by the Federal Ministry of Works at the beginning of May.
We did know before we established the business here that there was a coastal road alignment going to pass through, but what we had initially envisioned was that it would just go through our car park and maybe affect the beach house, which is Mera Mera. So we already had that in vision, in retrospect, right? But now we have two roads, one through the car park and the other one is cutting across directly through the pool area, which is literally the heart of our business at the Good Beach. Good Beach is barely 2 years in business. We literally turned 2 years last month. So we didn't know it would be this soon. Looking at this investment, it cost about 6 billion naira plus, to put this together, and all of that is going down. Directly, we have about 260 staff, and we have 280 indirect staff. And of these 260 staff, we have about 70% of them who depend on us for their basic needs, so accommodation, feeding, healthcare, and literally all of that. All of these guys are going to be rendered jobless, so to speak.
Just 2 days following this interview, right-of-way markings were conspicuously placed across this establishment.
My name is Christabel. I'm a staff of Good Beach, a waiter to be precise. We've been hearing about Coastal Road and how it's going to affect us. At first, we thought it was just a defense part of the Good Beach. We didn't know that it's going to be everywhere. See, this morning, we saw security men with armed forces. They were here, marking everywhere. I'm going to lose my job, obviously.
I feel so sad, and I'm not happy, because this is going to affect me, and not only me, my other colleagues as well. Because mostly this year we feed, this year we aim to take care of the family and all. There's not too much than to find another work, but it's not going to be easy to get another job compared to this.
Several buildings within this ecosystem, although not directly within the right-of-way, have been marked with government acquisition markings, ACQ. Arise understands that these properties are also slated for demolition, with the land to be acquired by the government in overriding public interest. This decision stems from concerns that the presence of these structures may impede the construction of the road. Business owners who received these markings declined to comment at this time. Situated next to the Good Beach is the largest container park in Africa, which is anticipated to become the largest in the world, Box Mall, Nigeria. Also known as Sol Beach, this beachfront haven will also be affected by the new coastal alignment. We reached out to the management team, but they declined to comment at this time. The business has already started deconstructing its container structures, signaling that demolition is imminent. One establishment that has received a lot of attention over the past few weeks is Landmark Beach, home to over 50 businesses that were situated within the right-of-way for the coastal highway. As a huge ecosystem with diverse infrastructure, ranging from apartments to offices to beachfront sites, Landmark now faces huge losses.
Okay, so many people analyze demolition just as a takedown of structure. It's more than just that. You have businesses that have contractual obligations. You have advertising deals. You have sponsorship deals. You have long-term contracts. You have people that have invested into Landmark Waterview Apartments for the view, which has been lost because of the demolition. So currently, we are faced with a lot of financial losses from existing tenants that have bought spaces, from contracts we have, advertising, sponsorship contracts, staff liabilities, people that have paid to stay at the resort or other parts of Landmark. So in terms of losses, we've lost billions of naira currently because of demolition works that have happened. Infrastructure-wise, to create what we created here requires a lot of infrastructure, both on the ground and on top. So we've over time invested in doing much of that, and this excludes even the investment made by the different businesses here in Landmark. So it's a huge financial loss to us. We are confident that we can recover. We're not against the coastal road. We are supportive of it. So for us going forward, it's really a case of how do we work with the government, how do we get adequately compensated for all the demolition works that happened, and how does government also play a more supportive role to us to be able to consider the different businesses affected, the staff affected, and just let us stabilize over time.
Ironically, Landmark is highlighted by the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture in a promotional video encouraging people to visit Lagos. While the completion of a coastal highway is anticipated to bring economic benefits to the country, there are significant repercussions, including unemployment, adverse impacts on tourism, and substantial losses. The government acknowledges these challenges, but asserts that the construction of this road serves the overriding public interest. Leila Johnson Salami, Arise News, Lagos.
Joining us now on the show is Dr. Lateef Onikoyi, an engineer and a member of the Renaissance Patriot Foundation. Dr. Onikoyi joined Lagos State Development and Property Corporation, LSDPC, as electrical engineer in 1991 and rose to chief electrical engineer. In 1999, when the Ministry of Housing was created by Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the governor of Lagos State, he was deployed to the ministry as chief engineer electrical, where he voluntarily retired in 2001. So the big conversation for us this morning, Dr. Onikoyi, and welcome to the morning show, is the talk around the demolitions, particularly within the state. That brilliant report there by Leila Johnson Salami talking about the effect of the bigger one with the Landmark and the coastal area. But we know there are others instituted instituted by the Lagos State government. Recently we had Mende, Maryland. I talked about the other areas earlier on. What people have complained about is that whilst the government says it is the buildings on the right of way, it's not done. It's done without notice in some instances. It's done without a sense of compassion for the people, as people are just, wake up one day and they lose their homes. I would like you to share your take on the demolition so far, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I want to start from the set of people we have in the civil service today. The civil servants we have nowadays, they don't think out of the box. Demolition or contravention is not new in any development. But when it comes, you see, you have to plan. I will give you an example. We had a relocation in what used to be called Aja, the Dolphin Estates. When we started the Dolphin Estate in LSDPC, the duplexes, one of our directors in one of the site meetings, observed and said, look at these structures, the Jakonde houses. These houses will devalue these duplexes we're building. And they will also be a threat to these people in terms of security because of the people living there. What did we do? We decided, okay, we are going to rebuild this structure so that it would be a modern structure. And within the estate, we relocated these people in the new structure, and LSC also had flats left that were sold to public after relocating the people to recoup the money that was used in constructing that place. Why are there no people taken like that in this present dispensation we have? What did we do? There were pockets of lands there. We just decided we increased the number of flats in the upper block from 6 to 8. We started with 3 blocks. We had 24 flats. That 24 flats took away 4 blocks, and we resettled them. They were even paid some tokens to move their loads at no cost to them. You see, those who caused most of this problem are the civil servants. And this thing started since 1999. Why did I say that? Hardly will you see any director in the civil service today or a permanent secretary that started as a level 8 or level 7 officer. When the politician came, they brought in people who had no civil service experience, training, and put them starting from level 13 and above. So who trained them? They just came in and they make them shift.
So let's look at the case of Minde, for instance. Like, are you saying if you had experienced civil servants, the engagement should have been a whole lot better?
It should have been. It should have been. This is not the first time Lagos State has been reconstructing drainage channels. In fact, when the state construct drainage channels, they also create lands which they sell to people. Because by the time the canal is constructed, because you see, most of these channels, most of these canals are streams, natural streams that empty into, empties into lagoons. We have them all over. So when mostly during the military era, they do the channelization, concrete it, and so on, then you have land on both sides. But what is happening, the Mende issue, we have to blame both the government and also the developers.
Okay.
The developers, they tried to corrupt the system. They are not. Most of them, you know, when they submit their survey, they fly their coordinates. They fly their coordinates. So on the paper, the plot of land will be far away from the canal. While on the actual sense, the land is just at the tip of the canal.
All right. So from what you're saying, I'm trying to get from what you're saying that because no more people have even traced back to who gave the permission for these structures to be built. Why wasn't it flagged by the regulatory agencies? And this is where we say complicity. And then now, years down the line, the landlords, tenants, because they also have been displaced in terms of their homes, have to pay for this. So let's investigate and find out who ought to be responsible for the approval. What do you say about that? Do you say there's a case there in terms of there being an oversight challenge in this area whereby approvals were given, structures were built, and now the structures are said to be built illegally?
Yes. Recently, I had a commissioner saying 80% of houses in Lekki have no building approval. I just imagine, how can government come on TV and indict themselves? Why should people build without approval? What is the consequence for doing that? The policy is there. The law is there. When you have 80%, that means you should be expecting, even if the government doesn't do that, another government may come and say he wants to start demolishing illegal structures in Lekki. What happens? Most of the houses he's referring to are estates. The estates, the developers submit their plan. That is what we call layout for approval. And once they get that, they start selling this land and people start building. And nobody goes there to stop them. Or if they go there, whatever happens.
How can we make government more capable and away from this complicity? Because we see all this destruction that go on. Why is that government waits till people have invested their money? And you now destroy? Because look at what has been destroyed in real estate in Lagos. It's going to billions.
Yes, that was where I started from. The real civil servants will have protected themselves.
Are these ones fake civil servants? These ones fake civil servants?
No, you see,
they are not experienced.
They are not experienced. They are not trained.
So
civil service.
So that means the Lagos civil service is faulty.
It's faulty as we have it now. Because you see, I received a letter from an officer. I read the letter. I look at it. He said a civil servant that wrote this. You see, there are things you were trained.
They don't know how to write letters?
Even letters.
The Lagos
an officer will write a letter as if he is the one. He is the one directing you. Whereas we were taught when we were in service to get order. The permanent or the commissioner or the governor had approved that you should do this. That has exonerated you. But now you see a letter, you are directed to remove this, as if he is the one saying it. That is not civil service.
So who pays for? Because it looks like, from what you're saying, the people are paying for the incompetence of the civil service. So how do we correct that wrong?
You see,
we saw people crying on TV the other day.
Yes, you see, when we were there, we used to go for training.
But they still go for training now, don't they?
The training, who are those training them? Who are those training them? Those who don't even know anything about government policy. They are training them on maybe what they bring from another country.
Also, do you think politics has destroyed the civil service? Their partisanship has destroyed them?
That is the main.
Because now you have to be a member of a certain political party to rise up in civil service.
That is it.
We'll stop it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.